Hello, friends, and welcome back into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey, and today's video is a look ahead into the future offseason. Top NFL free agents. Now, this list will very much change between now and the opening of free agency, but we're including every player who is set to be a free agent next upcoming offseason. We begin at number 1. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback. Now, I said it's not going to change. I don't see any scenario in which the Ravens go, we're going to let Lamar hit the open market. That's not what any ever smart organization would do. Not even Jack Easterby would pull that move now that he's out of Houston. The real question is, how is Lamar back with the Ravens? Is it on a long-term deal, or is it on the franchise tag? So for this offseason only, will the Ravens get that long-term deal done with Lamar Jackson? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comment section. Number 2, and we're trying to go in order of like best free agent, which is always subjective and position impact. It's all kind of screwy there, so keep that in mind. Saquon Barkley. Running backs, I know, don't get paid that much. He's a prime franchise tag candidate as well with the New York Giants, who also got to figure out quarterback Daniel Jones. We'll talk about that later on in today's show. Barkley's having a resurgent year, looking like the number 2 overall pick he was supposed to be. He's not going to command the most money, but he will be among the more hyped free agents if he hits the open market. Who do you think is the best NFL free agent in 2023? Sound off with that player name for me in the comment section. And no, Sean Payton does not count. Number 3, we'll talk offensive line here. Orlando Brown. Again, could be franchise tag with the Chiefs. That option still exists. He wants to get paid like a top-tier left tackle. That's understandable. We saw what an injury-prone Teron Armstead commanded in free agency. Orlando Brown will get the bag whenever he hits the open market, or if the Chiefs, step up and pay him in the end. Elgton Jenkins is kind of in a tricky situation. He's an all-pro caliber guard and has played like that too, but he hasn't played that great this year. He's been kind of miscast as a left tackle this season, and there are injury concerns. Now, you can get a premier player, you're probably going to overlook the injury concerns, but that's why he's 4 and not number 3 or, frankly, even number 2. At number 5, I don't even know if he's going to be a free agent. I don't even know where to put him. But it's Tom Brady, because how can you not? He's the GOAT. He's the greatest quarterback in NFL history. He's still playing well. I know the win-losses have not been great for Tampa, but he's actually played well for them this year. He's still looking like, for the most part, vintage Brady, even if he's not peak and prime Tom Brady anymore. But he's a free agent. He might want to leave and go somewhere else and not Tampa. Maybe not Miami anymore, but I'm sure those Niners rumors will pick up. But he also got to know, okay, how many years is he going to play, right? Like, he's at some point, I assume, Brady's not going to be Mr. Robot and keep playing anymore. This is the pinned comment on today's show. How many more years will Tom Brady play in the NFL? Make that prediction for me in the comments. Number 6, Roquan Smith, the Baltimore Ravens inside linebacker. Remember, if the Ravens can't pay Lamar Jackson, then they're going to have to franchise tag him, which would then result in a scenario in which Roquan Smith hits the open market and becomes a free agent. And that kind of jeopardizes things in terms of the Ravens being able to re-sign him. The deal they gave is you could probably get a decent amount back via the comp pick process. So I would not be shocked if Roquan, who wants $20 million a year, hits free agency. Jesse Bates and the Bengals have had some issues working on a long-term deal. He will not be franchise tagged again. He will hit the open market. He hasn't been as great the past 2 years, but he's a high-end impact, single-high true free safety. Those guys are tough to find. Number 8, Daron Payne. I like him a lot. I might be higher on Payne than most people, and heck, maybe a bit higher on Javon Hargrave too. I grouped these guys together, number 8 and number 9. They're predominantly known as run-stopping defensive tackles, but they've done a really good job of getting at least some pocket push. And I think guys who will probably hit the open market, probably not going to be franchise tagged, will be among the more notable free agents worth considering for teams trying to find some defensive line help. Not a name I ever thought would be on this list. Geno Smith is number 10. He is having a resurgent, crazy bounce-back year, but he's played really well in Seattle. It's not like he's just being carried. Of course, he's got good supporting cast, as every quarterback needs. But Geno's played really well. Is it a fluke year? How much guaranteed money to give him? I have no idea. I think he just ends up back in Seattle. but that contract and what it looks like is going to be interesting. Today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code NFLDaily. 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. You can bet on comeback player of the year odds, and Geno Smith is your betting favorite. He's even money plus nothing. So you put down 5, you win 5 plus your initial 5 back. Saquon Barkley is minus 120. Christian McCaffrey is plus 140. Derrick Henry is plus 2,000. Travis Etienne is plus 4,000. Or actually, Saquon was plus 120. My bad. That makes more sense in terms of the odds. Sorry. But it's very similar there. You guys know what I mean. You can bet on comeback player of the year by heading over to chatsports.com/bet and using promo code NFLDaily. Number 11 is Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, quarterbacks drive the market. Those are super important. He can still start in the NFL, even if only as a stopgap option. So I want an honest answer on this question because I don't know. If you got to sign one of these two guys in for you, assume the contract is similar. Who are you picking? JS or GS for Geno Smith or JG for Jimmy Garoppolo? Sound off in the comments. One of the big-time risers this year, Tony Pollard, he's averaging 6 yards per carry, a career high, when he's on pace for a career-high volume. He has not shown any drop-off in efficiency as he gets more and more of the workload. Look, running backs have a short shelf life. This is his chance to get the bag. He's going to look for it this offseason. Yannick Ngakoue, next up here, the edge rusher for Indianapolis, part of the, I would argue, somewhat ill-fated trade for the Raiders there to move on from Ngakoue. He's going to get another 8 sack season or so, somewhere in that range. He's 13. Marcus Davenport is 14. I think it was the ESPN list, had him in the top 5 or something. He doesn't have the production this year. He's got next to no sacks this season. I like Marcus Davenport. I know he had a 9-sack season last year. It's like, finally, the breakouts happen. He has half a sack this year. That's not enough production to give him a $20 million deal. Like he might be a 1-year contract cash in again next season. James Bradbury's been up and down across his career, but he's much better when he gets to play with Darius Slay, shocking. And a not that great cornerback crop, Bradbury's the one to keep an eye out for, at least for me. Tight end Dalton Schultz, next up here. He's number 16 on the list. Has been a bit banged up this year. Kind of hurts his impact from that standpoint, but he's a reliable tight end. He tends to put up around top 10 numbers. Given the lack of viable tight end options for some teams out there, someone will pay him $10, $11, $12, $13 million a year, but that might not be the Dallas Cowboys. We will have you covered all NFL offseason long. Draft, free agency, and trades, of course. We got you covered. Hit that subscribe button right now. Number 17, Josh Jacobs, having a very nice year and a not very good year for the Las Vegas Raiders. Franchise tag's kind of expensive. He and Tony Pollard, of course, not in the Saquon Barkley tier, are ones to consider. Now, Jordan Poyer is beginning to age, but he's still a very good safety. So I put him at number 18 on this list and one of my favorite under-the-radar options. Speaking of aging, Levante David, number 19. He is, I have said this for a couple years now, I think he's better than Devin White, but Bucs fans don't always like that. They're a little bit more on board this season. He is aging. He is still a damn good off-ball linebacker, but those guys are being devalued more and more across the NFL. Number 20. I don't know what to do with this here. Daniel Jones, the Giants quarterback. The Giants are winning football games. DJ has not been bad this year, but has he been franchise quarterback? I don't know about that one. So rank Daniel Jones for me among NFL QBs. This could be a bad deal if the Giants pay him big money, or anyone does, but it's a new regime. I don't know what's going to happen with Daniel Jones. Maybe it's like a 2-year deal with an out after year 1 or something wild. I'm not sure. I want you guys to rank Daniel Jones for me, though, among NFL quarterbacks. Jacoby Myers, number 21. I mean, it's not a great receiving core. And the Bears front office made that comment when they said we traded for Chase Claypool because we don't like the receiving core. Myers, a slot-only receiver, slot-mainly receiver, is maybe your best one in a pretty mediocre class. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson next up here. I am a huge fan of his. I wonder if the NFL will not be as high on his market as I am. That's why he's a bit lower here at number 22, despite all the interceptions he's made this year. He's a great fit in Philly. I think they should re-sign him, maybe even make him a bigger priority than some of their other upcoming free agents like Robert Quinn, etc. He's a good fit for what they want to do on defense. He went for so little from the Saints. It makes me wonder if he's the next example of NFL fans like this guy, Eagles fans like him, media loves him, but the NFL itself is not as high. We saw it with J.C. Jackson last year, for example. Jamel Dean at number 23, the Bucks corner. Again, not a great cornerback class. Dean has had some up and down moments, but there's talent, and he's a very good starting corner, and those guys command a market. Number 24, Juju Smith-Schuster. Not what we thought he was going to be after his first couple years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, trying to get right again in Kansas City. He will still command a market in a poor receiver class. He is number 24. And Niners fans might not like it that much. Mike McGlinchey, number 25. I know there's a segment of the Niners fan base that hates McGlinchey, but he is a starting caliber offensive lineman. Now, I don't want to break the bank for him, but there might be a team who is desperate for offensive tackle that says, screw it, Mike, here's $15 million or even more, because NFL teams are desperate for even passable offensive line play. We only put 25 names on here. There's a lot of free agents that we did not include. So if there's someone you really feel strongly should be on this list, feel free to let me know in the comments section.